The world watches when a giant falls. They wait for the crack in the voice, the tremor in the hands, and the ultimate collapse of the will. In the late 1990s, the entire globe was fixated on a single man standing at the center of a hurricane. Bill Clinton was not just a president facing impeachment. He was a human being whose reputational capital was being liquidated in real time. Most men would have shattered under the weight of such public scrutiny. Most would have allowed the volatility of public opinion to dictate their internal state. Yet, Clinton navigated the storm with a composure that baffled his enemies. He was practicing a form of emotional detachment that mirrors the most successful strategies in value investing. He understood a truth that most investors and leaders forget. The market of public opinion is erratic, but your intrinsic value is determined only by your internal governance. He was not merely a politician surviving a scandal. He was a student of the inner citadel. To understand how he remained standing, we must look past the headlines and into the philosophy of Stoicism. We must examine how a man manages his internal portfolio when the external world has declared him bankrupt. The problem most of us face is not the scale of our crises, but our reaction to them. We treat our emotions like a volatile stock, buying into the hype of our successes and selling off our dignity in our failures. Clinton's survival provides a masterclass in rationality and the dichotomy of control. He realized that while he could not control the storm of the scandal, he could control the sails of his own mind. The pressure of the presidency is a concentrated version of the pressure of the financial markets. Every word is analyzed. Every mistake is amplified. For Bill Clinton, the scandal was a total market crash. His personal and professional assets were under attack. The tension was not just political, it was a war for the ownership of his narrative. In the world of finance, when a company faces a crisis, the crowd panics. They sell. They assume the end is near. This is where the average person loses everything, not because the company is dead, but because their emotional regulation has failed. Clinton faced a similar choice. He could have allowed the external chaos to penetrate his internal world, leading to a paralysis of leadership. Instead, he maintained a level of resilience that allowed him to continue the work of the nation while his character was being dissected. This is the essence of value investing applied to the self. You must know what you are worth when the world says you are worth nothing. You must have a margin of safety built into your character. While the cameras captured the frenzy, Clinton was reported to be reading Marcus Aurelius. He was looking for a way to detach his soul from the circus. He understood that the opinion of the masses is an indifferent, something that, in the grand scale of the universe, cannot touch the core of a man unless he allows it. The conflict was between the man he was in the headlines and the man he was in the silence of the Oval Office. By choosing the latter, he preserved his human equity. Imagine a grand, ancient garden. This garden represents your life's work, your legacy, and your peace of mind. Now, imagine a terrifying tempest that begins to howl. This is a scandal. This is the market crash. This is the moment of crisis. The wind tears at the branches, and the rain threatens to flood the roots. The natural human reaction is to run into the rain and try to hold the trees still with our bare hands. We shout at the clouds. We exhaust ourselves trying to stop the storm. But the Stoic knows this is a waste of capital allocation. You cannot negotiate with a hurricane. Instead, the Stoic retreats to the shelter he built long ago. He knows that the compound interest of his character, the years of discipline and study, has created a structure that can withstand the wind. He sits in the shelter and focuses on the garden's design, not the weather. This is the garden and the storm. Bill Clinton used this principle of Stoicism to separate his duties from his difficulties. He treated his work for the American people as a separate asset class from his personal struggles. By doing this, he ensured that the storm did not ruin the entire harvest. He stayed within his circle of competence, focusing on policy and governance, while the storm of the scandal spent its energy on the outside walls. This is how you survive. You do not fight the storm. You outlast it by being more durable than the wind. You realize that your peace of mind is the only currency that truly matters, and it is a currency that no scandal can steal unless you hand it over. If you prioritize character over cash, comment wealth below. To apply this to your own life and your own portfolio management, you must follow a specific framework of practical Stoicism. First, you must define your own circle of competence. Clinton survived because he remained useful. He remained a master of his craft even when his personal life was in shambles. In your finances, this means ignoring the noise of the latest trends and doubling down on what you actually understand. Do not let a personal crisis or a market dip push you into territories you have not mastered. Stick to your value investing principles. Second, you must practice the dichotomy of control every single morning. Ask yourself, is this situation something I can change, or is it a market fluctuation? If it is the latter, treat it with the same indifference you would show to the weather. If you are facing a professional setback or a loss of reputation, focus entirely on your next rational move, not on how the world perceives you. Your intrinsic value is not determined by a ticker symbol or a headline. It is determined by your ability to maintain rationality under fire. Third, you must understand the power of patience as a defensive weapon. Time is the friend of solid business and the enemy of fraud. If you have built something real, whether it is a career or a portfolio, time will eventually reveal its worth. Bill Clinton did not try to solve the scandal in a day. He endured. He waited. He allowed the compound interest of time to erode the intensity of the public's anger. In your investments, this means having the Stoic virtue of temperance. When the market is screaming, the most powerful thing you can do is sit still. Finally, you must build an inner citadel. This is a mental space where you are untouchable. You build this through the study of mental models and the constant reminder that external events are neutral until you assign them a meaning. A scandal is just data. A loss is just a number. It is your judgment of these things that causes the pain. By refining your judgment, you achieve a level of financial freedom that no bank account can provide. You become a person who cannot be intimidated by the world because you have already conquered yourself. True wealth is not found in the absence of problems, but in the mastery of one's reaction to them. We look at a man like Bill Clinton, and we see the complexities of a life lived in the public eye, but the lesson for us is simple. Your character is your only permanent asset. Everything else, fame, money, status, can be taken away in a single afternoon by a shift in the wind. But the Stoic path offers you something the market cannot, an unbreakable spirit. When you stop fearing the scandal and start fearing the loss of your own integrity, you become truly powerful. You begin to move with the calm authority of a mentor, someone who has seen the storm and knows that the garden will grow again. True unlimited wealth is the ability to stand in the middle of a collapsing world and remain a whole person. It is the realization that you are the architect of your own soul, and no one else holds the pen. Subscribe to Money and Stoicism to master your finances and your mind. Like this video if you seek true freedom. Thank you for watching. Your journey to financial mastery does not end here. Continue your evolution by watching the next lesson on your screen. If the world turned against you tomorrow, Would your internal foundation be strong enough to support the weight of the truth?